Anthropology lecture series. So we were doing this economic anthropology. So let's get started with it. We'd already finished reciprocity and redistribution in our exchange system. So today we will do ceremonial exchange, barter, etc. Okay? So this is the third kind of exchange that is very much prevalent in the simple societies. So basically, what is a barter? As you can see in this picture, he is exchanging wool for some burger, like you can say, right? So this is what barter is basically. A person has something else and B has something else, and this A person wants the thing which B has and B wants the thing which A has. So that is what, and that is how the barter takes place. So it is exchange of commodity with other commodity having utilitarian value. Utilitarian value क्या हो गया? Utility. What is the meaning? Utilitarian has come from the word utility. That means it should be of use to the other person, right? So if this person needs wool and this person needs food, so he would change food for, you can say, wool or cloth, whatever, right? So this is how two people having different commodities can exchange their commodities for their utility. In absence of exchange, now this is very important, absence of medium of exchange would be that generally हम क्या करते हैं in modern societies? What happens is, whatever you need, you will go to a market and you will buy it for a price, and that price, that money, that medium of exchange is there. That means anything you want to buy, there will be a standard medium of exchange, and that is money, right? So barter mein that medium of exchange is absent. So there only barter will happen between two people who need the item which the other person has, right? So इसमें bargaining भी होता है. For example, how much food you should exchange for how much wool, that is bargaining. So people indulge in bargaining, and that has a both positive as well as negative effect on the tribal communities. How positive? Because when you bargain, you interact with people, you make social relations. And negative क्या होगा? Bargaining से obviously there is that bickering that happens ना. तोल भाव से क्या होता है? थोड़ा सा there is some kind of थोड़ा सा एक डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन होता है, जिससे मूड थोड़ा अपसेट हो सकता है अगले इंसान का. तो दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस, राइट? एंड दिस बार्टर कैन टेक प्लेस विद और विदाउट द मार्केट. दैट मीन्स एक बार्टर हो गया, वन काइंड ऑफ बार्टर विच इज दैट इट इज हैपनिंग इन द मार्केट, and the other one is happening without the market, right? So this is how barter can take place. Or barter, there are types of barter. That means there is either silent barter or there is open barter. Ab silent barter mein kya hota hai? I'll just tell you with an example. So let's take the example of Sinhala and Vedas of Sri Lanka. Basically they are the tribes. One is the agriculturalist tribe, that is Sinhala. They are agricultured settled communities, right? And Vedas are the forest dwellers. So what happens is, these forest dwellers, whenever need the items of agriculture, they would come to the doors of the village and they would silently keep their produce, whatever minor forest produce that they have, they will keep it there. And after some days they will come and they will see that the village people have taken the minor forest produce, and in exchange of it they have kept the agricultural items. So this is the silent barter, where they do not indulge into any kind of bargain, conversation, communication. It doesn't happen. So silently it takes place. And whenever they will put more goods, so ultimately villagers will also give them more goods. And when they keep less products, then simultaneously even the villagers will give them less products. So this is how the silent barter takes place. And then the open barter is, matlab, example if you want to take, in Nilgiris there are tribes like Toda, they are pastoralist. Then Badaga, they are the agriculturalist. Then there is Kota, that is the medicine tribe, medicine man tribe. And there are Kurumbas, they are the artisans. So they indulge in open barter system. That means they will have communication with each other. They will exchange, for example, Toda will give milk and milk products to Badaga, and they will give them the agricultural items and so on like that. So ab isme this is the characteristics of barter system that we are reading. So very important one thing is that they are non ceremonial exchanges. Of course जब हमने बात कर ली that these are basically utilitarian items. That means whenever utilitarian word will come, obviously that means it has a value, that means people use it in their daily lives, things that are of utility to them. But non ceremonial ceremonial क्या होता है? Ceremonial होता है something which has a ritualistic purpose, right? Religious हो सकता है, political हो सकता है, any kind of ritualistic purpose it has. For example हम बोलते हैं कि in on Rakhis we exchange राखी, रक्षाबंधन पे राखी exchange करते हैं. Then you know in different occasions people give each other Bal Gopal, and there are things that have ritualistic value. So these are not the things you are going to use in your utility items. Utility items क्या होती हैं which are of use, for example clothing हो सकता है, food हो सकता है. So obviously barter is a non ceremonial exchange. Ceremonial exchange क्या होता है we are going to read in the next slide, do not worry about that. And this is mainly economic, that means these are items of economic importance, whereas non ceremonial items are things which do not have economic importance, but they are more religious, ritualistic, cultural importance, right? And simple societies में barter takes place. Modern societies का feature नहीं है. Modern societies do not, there is no barter that happens in the economic transaction we are talking about. So next is the market. Now I've shown two figures here. The first one you can see more or less it looks like a modern day market. Modern day market would more or less look like this, but I have put a very different picture, the second one, which is the simple societies. And when we read about the market systems na, so you will see why this picture I put specifically. So let's start with it. Yeah, so basically what is a market? Market is a place where goods change hands by sale or purchase, of course, and not always done through medium of exchange. हमने भी barter में पढ़ा कि barter can also take place in a market, right? For simple societies barter takes place in a market sometimes, okay? So ज़रूरी नहीं है कि there is a medium of exchange. Then in a market, basically for a modern day person, for a person who lives in the modern day economy, market just only has a economic perspective, only economic. But it is not true for simple societies. For simple societies it has many functions. It has social functions, it has religious function, it has political functions, it has judicial functions, it has entertainment functions, it has in marriage related activities it is there. Then apart from that economic to hai hai. So market is more than just a place where you will buy goods and services in the simple societies, right? So for example हम example लेते हैं Himalayans का एक market रहता है that is called Chomasa. In that what happens is people go to meet their relatives which they cannot meet in the daily lives. For example, there are so many kins, secondary kins, tertiary kins who you do not meet in your daily lives. So to meet them, to have enjoyment for fun purposes, they go and meet their kins also in the markets itself. So market basically works on two principles. There is that means there are two things that are involved in market. One is the marketplace, जो अभी तक हम बात कर रहे हैं. The actual place where will we go and either exchange goods or services or do all these things like political, economic, religious, which we were talking about. And the second thing is the market principle. Now what is market principle? Basically market principle is that economic principle of demand supply, ठीक है, the price, how the prices for things are fixed, right? So this is the market principle, which may or may not be present in the simple societies, because हमने बात किया economic anthropology is all about studying the economies of simple societies which are embedded in the socio-cultural matrix. That means they do not work on the principles of modern day economics of demand and supply, prices, like that. So उधर market principle is missing. ठीक है, market place might be there where they go exchange goods and services, but then the market principle is missing. So on basis of that only we can describe different markets as being a market of a band or a tribe or a complex society. Basically band क्या होता है? A very simple organization of 10 to 15 people who are generally at a very simple level of technology, ठीक है, subsistence living, ठीक है, they are basically people who are extended family or very close related people, hunters and gatherers mostly. So बड़ी basic evolutionary sequence में ये लोग रहते हैं. So उनमें market is as such absent. But when we will talk about the tribes na, tribes are a lot bigger than a band. That means tribes can have people as many as 1,000 also, and maybe more than that also. So basically tribe क्या होगा? It will be a lot many clans that will be together, that they make a, और clan में बहुत सारे lineages आ सकते हैं, right? So there are a lot of people with some kind of a political organization, political structure and organization. Then obviously they will have some surplus, because of course if they are interacting with each other, they are living a settled life also, they can live a settled life also, they can be agricultural communities also, right? So उनके पास कुछ surplus होगा, कुछ economic organization होगा, so that is why there can be a market in the tribals, whereas bands में तो there is no market. Okay, tribes में हो सकती है, and then there may be the marketplace, but market principle is absent because they do not work on the modern economic ideas, right? Then the medium of exchange, हमने बात कर लिया कि market में there barter type भी हो सकता है, which means that there is no medium of exchange, and sometimes there are medium of exchanges, like North American Indians जो है ना, they use blankets as currency, or Ashanti tribe use wooden weight as the medium of exchange, right? So this is how you can describe the markets of tribal and simple societies, and these were the characteristics of it. Features of tribal markets by Dalton and Bohannon. So now these are some other principles जो आपको और clear कर देंगे what markets are basically. So market is a peripheral thing. What is a periphery? Basically, if I draw this circle, this would be the core region, right? And everything apart from that is the periphery. That means it is not the central part, not central. Okay, so in tribals, in their life, market does not play a very central role. That means it is not that ki, if the markets collapse, their culture or society will face a lot of trouble because of that, unlike the modern societies, because today as we see US economy is going into recession. What does that mean? Basically it means कि market destabilized है right now, right? So उससे there would be worldwide, leave alone in India or USA, there will be worldwide problems, right? Disruptions that will take place. So market is as such a not very central part in the tribal societies, so it does not disrupt their lives even if it is there or not there, and their factors of production are not sold. For example, in modern economics, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, every factor can be sold or bought, right? But in tribal markets ऐसा नहीं होता. Then there are special rules of entry and exit. For example, in Dahomey tribe, only females sell. Only sellers are only females, and males come as buyers only. So this is also a different kind of a rule that is there in the tribes, right? So apart from that, then there are rules of inauguration. For example, the chief would be the person whenever there will be any new market that will come up, only the chief will come and inaugurate it. So like that, and it will be done on a particular day with some particular rituals. But in modern day markets ऐसे तो नहीं होता है, right? Then हम पढ़ेंगे about the market ring. So market ring is very simple. For example, हम बोलते हैं कि this is the tribe, okay? This is the tribe, and in this tribe, one day market will take place at this place, then one day market will take place at this place, and then market will take place at this place, then market will take place at this place. So this is how different places market will take place. जैसे यहाँ पे day 1 पे यहाँ, then day 2 पे यहाँ पे, day 3 पे यहाँ पर, day 4 पर यहाँ पर. So like this. So this makes a market ring. So specific time, specific place, market will that day market will take place. So that is market ring, which happens in Igbo of Nigeria. ठीक है? Then this market, as we have already talked, it is not merely economic activity के लिए place, but it is more than that. It acts as important for their social integration. For example, in East Africa tribes, females meet members of their natal lineage. That means उनकी family, जैसे female की अपनी जो जिसमें वो पैदा हुए थे, not the conjugal families, but the consanguineal families. Conjugal हो गई by marriage, consanguineal हो गई by birth वाली. So जो उनकी by birth families है, जिनसे वो रोज़ नहीं मिल पाते, so उनसे वो जाकर मिलते हैं, right? And then it political functions, like any important announcement by the leader is to be made, then they will make it in the market. Then judicial, if there is any crime, not exactly crime, but anybody has done anything wrong which is outside the ideas of cultural their culture, so then how to give them justice, कैसे justice होगा, what would be the punishment given to the people who has committed this crime. So all of this also takes place in the market. Then religious activities takes place in the market. ठीक है ना? Often in TIFs क्या होता है कि जहाँ पे उनका shrine रहेगा ना, abode of the god, जहाँ पे भी वो अपना होगा, उसके आगे पीछे market को लगाया जाता है. ठीक है? Then marriage, for example in Bheels में marriage by capture होता है ना. So how, from where will they capture the girl? They will capture the girl from the market itself. ठीक है? So entertainment के लिए they will meet, they will dance together, they will celebrate festivals in the markets. So all of this, and then there will be singing, dancing, everything happening. So this is all about the tribal markets. So that is why I put this picture, because all these kind of activities, dancing, showing some entertainment things also happen in the markets itself. ठीक है? So now we go to the next topic, that is ceremonial exchange. Now what is the ceremonial exchange? Of course ये word से ही पता चल रहा है. Ceremonial, that means it has a certain non-utilitarian value. ठीक है ना? Obviously अब ये utility की चीज़ तो नहीं हो सकती, so it is non-utilitarian. पहली बात. Then it is ritualized gift giving. Obviously, so some ritual, जब ceremony आ गई तो that means it is some rituals for which it is taking place, right? So rituals आ गए, ritualized gift giving, and this is very irrational, tiring kind of वो. पहली बात तो when we are talking about ceremonial exchange ना, उसमें there are different kind of ceremonial exchange. For example, जैसे gifts in marriage देते हैं, that is ceremonial exchange. Then there are funeral gifts in Africa, they are ceremonial exchange. Gifts to priests, Kula exchange, all these are different type of ceremonial exchange. That means ceremonies, whether it is wedding, birth, childbirth हो सकता है, wedding हो सकती है, funeral हो सकता है. All these are different ceremonies celebrated in different cultures. ठीक है? And when we give gifts on these occasions, that becomes ceremonial exchange. So now इसमें से very particular type of ceremonial exchange is Kula exchange, which we are going to read. Basically अब Kula में क्या होता है? It's a special kind of ceremonial exchange, and it is done in the Pacific Islanders. Okay? Pacific Islanders को study किया था. वहाँ पे एक tribe है, this is the tribe known as Trobriand Islanders. of Pacific. ठीक है, it was studied by Malinowski in his book The Argonauts of Western Pacific. Okay, and in that he discussed about the ceremonial exchange known as kula. So now I've left these points deliberately, because when we'll study about the kula, then you'll understand it. So let's first study the kula exchange. Basically क्या होता है, let me take a white pen first. Okay, so now let's start. For example, these are, let me draw the diagram first, तब तक आप, you can just do something else. It will just take another moment. Okay, let me just make one more. Okay, okay, so this is the drawing. Okay, this way and this way. So there are two kind of things that are given in this kula. One is this item. This is a necklace. This is a white colored a necklace with red shells, which is called the sulava. If I may be pronouncing it wrongly, so please kindly forgive me for that. And then there is this item which is a bracelet. It's a bracelet, and it is basically white bracelet with red something. So it is called the mawali, mali, whatever it is. Okay, so this necklace is given to people who, for example, this is island number 1, this is island number 2, 3, 4 and ऐसे like that. So basically, you know, Pacific में there are many small islands जिनको हम archipelago बोल सकते हैं. There are a group of small islands. Okay, so basically they have, if this is an island, this person will have its communication and relations with this also, with this island also, with this island also, with this island also, and everybody is integrated into a larger setting, which is the kula exchange. Okay, so now what happens is, there are two kind of kula exchange that takes place. One is the inter island, that means within the islands, and one is intra island, that means within the island itself. For example, intra island हो गया जब ये वाला इनके साथ exchange कर रहा है. For example, मैं color change करती हूँ. This person giving exchange, doing exchange with this, right? But if the person is doing the exchange within its family only, the same island only, that becomes the intra island exchange. So basically दो type का exchange हो रहा है, inter island or intra island. Inter island is the prerogative of the males. That means if they have to go out and do the ceremonial exchange with the other islands, it is only done by the males, whereas intra island में even females can participate. Now these are two things which are of non-utilitarian values. Obviously necklace and bracelet is not a thing which is of any economic value to them, right? So what happens is, if one person now goes from the island 1 to island 2, he will go from island 1 to island 2, take the necklace from somebody and give him the bracelet, and take the bracelet from somebody and give him the necklace. Sorry if that doesn't make any sense. Let's write it so that it becomes a little clear. So what he did, he had one necklace and one bracelet. So what he did, to one person he gave the necklace and to one person he gave the bracelet. So though two people he gave a necklace and he gave the bracelet also, and the person who gave him the necklace, he took back from him the bracelet, and the person from whom he took the bracelet, he took back the necklace. So every person is giving the other person something, and now in this whole exchange they exactly know who is the kula partner. Now what is a kula partner? I will just explain it to you. This information is also not important, so let me do it here. Yeah, So basically now, for example, this person is person A. So A person will have a Kula partner in some other island. For example, island 2 में, ये island 1 का है. So he has a Kula partner in island 2 जिसको उसने bracelet देना है, or there will be another person who he will give the necklace and take back the that bracelet from. So much confusion, right? So they exactly know who is the Kula partner, and this cycle as a whole takes place in 10 years. मतलब full complete circle हो जाता है in 10 years, and every 2 years generally they have to go take this very tiring voyage. Voyage means journey, which has absolutely no utility, but then it strengthens their bonds. It strengthens their bonds as a group. कैसे? They might have religious purposes, they might have marital relations with each other, and at the time of war from any outside party, any outside tribe, any outside, they all become one. So this is the larger understanding of the ceremonial exchange. I hope you must have understood it. So now you read this. So it is many times irrational, obviously, because you are taking such a tiresome journey for this, and for which they make special boats also. So there are special boats filled with gifts and all, and then of course they do this this whole thing which is the non-ceremonial exchange, and इसके साथ एक और activity takes place which is called the, अब I don't know how to pronounce this, Gamwali and whatever it is. इसमें they will gift others things of utility. That means they might give them each other sweets, fruit items, food items, then some piece of clothing, etc. And then they gift it to everybody, not only to the Kula partner, but this they can give to anybody in that island. Okay, so this is all about the Kula thing, right? So इसमें कोई bargaining नहीं होती, of course कोई bargaining नहीं होती, because it is a ritual thing. अब आप पंडित जी को दिल से श्रद्धा करके कुछ दोगे तो आप उनसे बार्गेनिंग थोड़ी करते हो कि नहीं नहीं पंडित जी थोड़ा कम ले लो, ऐसे नहीं होता ना, राइट? सो इट इज़ लाइक दैट. सो गिफ्ट्स हैविंग नो और लेस यूटिलिटी, देयर इज नो मटीरियल बेनिफिट टू पर्सन गिविंग द गिफ्ट, rather results in indebtedness. So it is like if they do not take this voyage every 2 years and complete this whole thing of giving and taking, they end up they will end up getting a lot of gossip and social ridicule. That means people will say, oh, they did not do their ritual activity, so it's an obligation, you have to do it. For example, it's like in Indian tradition also it happens na. For example, आपको कुछ कोई what they call हवन करना है, पूजा करनी है, so it becomes an obligation. It's not like आपने कर दिया तो कुछ social prestige आपका बढ़ गया, it actually आपको indebt कर देती है, right? So it is like that. So बाकी मैंने आपको पूरा ceremonial exchange, Kula exchange समझा दिया है. So next is इनका एक और फंडा है, that is once in Kula always in Kula. दैट मीन्स जब ये ऐसे कुला की सेरेमनी करते हैं ना, एक दूसरे को चीज़ें बांटते हैं एंड ये पीरियोडिकल एक वॉयज लेते हैं, इससे इनमें सोशल सॉलिडारिटी बढ़ती है, एंड देन दे स्टैंड अप विद वन अनदर एट द टाइम ऑफ एनी कॉन्टीजेंसी लाइक वॉर, फेमाइन, एनी अदर प्रॉब्लम. सो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज़. एंड देन वन मोर काइंड ऑफ अ वेरी अनयूजुअल ceremonial exchange is called the potlatch, जिसके हम कल भी बात कर रहे थे. It is also example of ceremonial exchange and it is done by Kwakiutl Indians. Okay, and इसमें क्या होता है, basically they do very callous destruction and distribution of wealth. Now again, जो हमने ceremonial exchange पढ़ा उसमें भी हमने sorry not ceremonial exchange but the Kula, जब हमने Kula पढ़ा we saw कि Kula में भी you were taking this very tiring journey and all of this for a thing which was not required. मतलब for example, it's like you're going from India to Pakistan just to give some person a bracelet which is of no value. So it's like that. So very tiresome journey you're doing and going and doing it. So it is very against the principles of modern economics. So modern economics के principles it doesn't follow. Similarly potlatch भी ऐसी चीज़ है. In potlatch what happens is ना, these people basically they have to destroy and distribute their wealth to other people. For example, they will, इसमें दो पार्ट हैं. First is destroy and second is distribute. So basically what happens is they will distribute items to other people in the society, and from that actually they will gift different kind of items to different people, and from that their social prestige is not decided, but the social prestige of person who's getting the gift is decided. For example, अभी भी हमारे जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी दिवाली आने वाली है, so mothers and usually the family people will give gifts to different people, but different things, right? Some people you would give a lot more expensive gifts, some people you will give less expensive gifts, depending upon the people you're giving that gift and the relation you're having with them. So same होता है इसमें भी, when you distribute the gifts, every person you will give different gifts, and people who will get more precious gifts have more social prestige. Okay, and when you destroy property or wealth, your wealth, when you destroy it, it means it decides your own prestige. So basically जो जितनी ज़्यादा wealth destroy करेगा उसकी उतनी ज़्यादा social prestige है उस group में. So it is very unlike modern economics ना. The more wealth you destroy, the more social prestige you have. So this is very like, so this is, you can call this as prestige competitiveness, because how you're getting the prestige, and there is competition. The more the person will destroy its wealth, the more it will have the social prestige. So it is like that. And there are different kind of potlatches that take place on funerals, then house building, then face saving. For example, if you are not able to do what is required of you in that society, so then you will do the not to have the social ridicule and all of that, not to face that, तो आप face saving potlatch करोगे. Okay, so all this was about the ceremonial exchange, barter, everything we have studied for today in this lecture. Tomorrow I will try and take one more lecture for this chapter, and we will try to complete the topic itself tomorrow. And if not we'll just have one more lecture for it, and then we'll complete it. I am covering it in a lot more detail because it's an important chapter and a lot of questions can come out of it. So please guys, if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.